Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 252.
On Now You Know.
We're brought to you, as always, by our amazing Patreon patrons. If you want to support this channel, you can head over to patreon.com/nowyouknow. We have lots and lots of different perk levels, so you can support it whatever you're comfortable with. And we've got lots of different perks, so you can enjoy all of those. You can start for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/nowyouknow.
And we're also brought to you by BigBattery.com. No matter what you need to power, Big Battery can provide you with the latest battery tech at the best price per kilowatt hour, guaranteed. Their batteries are easily installed, require zero maintenance, and they're made right here in the U.S. Pick up yours today at BigBattery.com and use code NOWYOUKNOW for 5% off at checkout. So some big news for the quarter. It looks like another record-breaking quarter for Tesla. Elon tweeted out, "Congrats, Tesla team, on over 200,000 cars built and delivered in Q2 despite many challenges."
So is this like official? Did we get actual numbers somewhere where we could check those out?
We did. Check this out. We get to see the Model S and X production and deliveries. Of course, very low because this is just the beginning of the new refresh. And then Model 3 and Y, 199,360 deliveries. And if you're trying to put all those numbers into context, let's look at it on hypercharts.co, which is where we go for our charts. Awesome site, by the way. And so you can see pretty much level with Model 3 deliveries for last quarter, which is kind of amazing. And then Model Y pushed it over the top for a record-breaking quarter. This is the fourth record-breaking deliveries quarter in a row.
Wow. And Model S and X, again, did not really help with that at all.
Right. Yeah. In fact, wait till probably next quarter when it's going to help.
And wait till upcoming quarters when some other gigafactories are going to be online.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I just want to point out this is over 200,000 EVs delivered in one quarter.
Yeah.
By one company.
Yeah.
It's really impressive, especially when, I look back and we were talking about like 30,000 deliveries in previous quarters, and we were like, that's good. Now they're blowing themselves out of the water.
Yeah, wait till we get to the tweets of the week and you'll see some comparisons to Ford.
You're watching Celebrity Cribz. Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Jay Shizzle back at it with Celebrity Cribz. Today we're going to be checking out billionaire Elon Musk's crib. Let's check it out. Whoa, definitely a weird foyer. Looks like every room in the house is right here. Must be an entrance to a secret underground bunker. Should be around here anywhere. We love that stuff here on Celebrity Cribz. Yo, what? That's it? Man, how lame. I mean, I'm so out of here. This is a billionaire's house. I shouldn't be like, why'd you fly me out to Boca Chica if this is the house that I'm going to be looking at? Yo, next up on the billionaire train, this $165 million home is the most expensive house in California. It's owned by none other than Jeff. Sorry, Jeff who?
I'm sorry, Jay Shizzle. That last bit about Jeff Bezos' house, is that true? $165 million?
Yo, how'd you get on this channel, dude? Yeah, it is, and we're gonna totally review it. It's gonna be super dope.
So let me get this straight. Two billionaires. One lives in a $50,000 house. One lives in a $165 million house.
Yes. To be fair,
this should be a TV show. We should pitch it to Netflix. It's The Odd Couple.
Isn't that already a show?
The Odd Couple Billionaire Edition.
Okay. So the big question here is, does Elon live in a boxable house?
Yeah, remind me again, what's a boxable house?
So Boxable is a company. They make a house that like unfolds, then you put stuff in it.
Because there are some at Boca Chica that are boxable houses.
Right. And you can see this picture here kind of off to the side, boxable house. There's also a lot of like Airstream trailers.
But didn't he answer the question on Twitter?
Well, so someone had said like, Elon lives in a boxable house like this one. And then Elon responded, he said, not that specific one.
So does he mean not that specific brand or not that specific version of the house? We don't know. Okay, so he could live in a boxable house. Either way, he lives in a tiny house that's $50,000 when he lives at Boca Chica.
And that's his only main residence. He says that he still has a house in LA, but they're just renting it out.
So, I mean, he's claiming residence in Boca Chica now.
Right. In a $50,000 house, which is cheaper than most people's houses.
Interesting.
Especially in this housing market. I mean, this is kind of a weird thing for a billionaire to do. And it also kind of a weird thing for Elon to do. I mean, he bought Gene Wilder's house because he likes Gene Wilder.
Also, he's got a kid. I mean, don't you need a little more space?
Well, that's a question. Does Grimes have her own house that she can just kind of zip off to when she's...
That'd be my guess, because I don't think they all want to squeeze into a boxable house.
I mean, I can understand why Elon, like, he's used to odd sleeping arrangements under his desk, in the middle of a hallway, in a conference room.
This carries on with that idea of I'm going to sleep on a couch in the conference room. It shows the whole company like, hey, I'm living in a teeny house. I'm not living it up like Jeff.
Right. Jeff who?
Jeff who?
My name is Jeff.
All right, so Dirty Tesla tweeted out about 500 miles on the no radar Y so far, and Tesla vision is impressive. Slowing for stopped slow cars is very good and gentle. Rain performance is great so far, video tomorrow morning, and lane changes are freaking perfect. I dare say it's better than before, but man, I really need 80 miles per hour. Can we please bump that boy by 5 miles an hour? Haha. Follow distance 3 is fine for me, although I used to always be on 1 or 2. And Elon said...
Production release update coming this week, which includes raising max speed to 80 miles an hour. Sorry, 75 mile an hour limit was done as a precautionary measure. Turned out to be unnecessary.
And this time, it looks like it didn't take 2 weeks to do it.
Yeah, so it looks like OTA software update 2021.4.18.10, which was released on June 29th, brings back emergency lane departure avoidance and smart summon, and increases autopilot speed limit from 75 miles an hour to 80 miles an hour, which is not as fast as the original autopilot, which could let you go 90 miles an hour on autopilot.
But I think it's going to keep getting there as they keep perfecting it.
Right. So
there's been a lot of updates, actually, recently. I guess little tweaks and fixes.
And so, again, this was all about removing radar literally from the cars, which a lot of people were worried about because, again, they kind of nerfed autopilot for a while. They're starting to bring back those features. But the main reason they did that was because radar was giving more noise than signal for, all the sensors that they have, which is mainly cameras. I mean, I kind of liken it to if you're driving along, like with someone else in their backseat driving. If you're like an inexperienced driver and you're not very good and they're going like, look out! And you're kind of like, oh my gosh, I didn't see that. That can be helpful. But if you're like a really good driver and like, I don't know, your grandmother or your mother-in-law is sitting in the back
Watch out, is that a deer?
That wasn't anything. Don't freak me out like that. I'm driving the car. Like, that is kind of what radar was doing. Radar remained the same. It can't get much better. It doesn't see anything. It just kind of detects large metal objects, which could be bridges, which could be manhole covers, and it gives a lot of false positives, and that's where a lot of the phantom braking came from. So what I'm interested in is phantom braking going to be going away?
Yeah. On Tuesday at 9 p.m., a Tesla Model S Plaid caught on fire in an upscale Philadelphia neighborhood in Haverford, Pennsylvania.
The results of this fire look like most Tesla fires in that the car is now toast.
The reason it's getting so much attention is because it's a brand new Plaid Model S, which you can tell from this light on the front.
Now, this calls into question whether it was a defect in a now recently produced new model which caused the fire.
Now, we have no details into the cause of the fire. In fact, we don't know whose car it even is. All the details of the fire have been given from the fire department and the Tesla owner's lawyers.
Now, some people are saying that it's suspicious that a Philadelphia driver has been almost immediately been represented by a Los Angeles and Miami lawyer. So 2 separate lawyers, both from different states. Though, you have to keep in mind, these cars do cost $130,000. And that's kind of exactly the sort of person who would already have an attorney who had an attorney's friend who could call them in on a matter like this.
Yeah, I mean, we did some digging around the area in Google Maps, and we noticed something kind of strange.
So just across the street from where the Tesla burned were these rocks on the side of the road. And we looked around the neighborhood a little bit, and we found them all over the place.
Yeah, so could the driver have accidentally driven over one of them after taking a corner maybe a little too fast or something? And that could have maybe led to a fire?
Now, we don't know, and we're still waiting for more details. Maybe someone can put together all the pieces, like the Vanderbilt Commodore's baseball logo on the front of the Tesla. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure we're going to be getting more details in the future, and we're going to find out why this Tesla caught on fire.
Yeah, because according to one of the fire techs on the scene, the car was still rolling when it was called in. And so it's like the driver's nowhere to be seen. Why would the driver have like run off?
Now, there's a lot of conflicting reports about this. I mean, there are some people who are saying that like that ambulance driver was a liar and that's not true and it was just on Reddit. But of course, the media loves to talk about this sort of stuff and speculate because it's a big fire.
Well, speaking of fires, that's not a fire. This is a fire.
What the hell is that? Is the ocean on fire?
Yep, that's the ocean on fire. What? Or more specifically, a natural gas pipeline under the ocean west of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula that started early Friday. But don't worry, we've got plenty of water to put it out. Actually, it took more than 5 hours to put out the fire from the 12-inch diameter pipeline that connects the Pemex flagship Ku Maloob Zap oil platform that produces about 0.7 million barrels of oil a day.
Okay, no. Stop. Hold on. I'm sorry. The ocean is on fire! The ocean is on fire! Hello? The ocean is made out of water. It shouldn't be on fire. What the f***? Excuse me? It's on fire. The ocean.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
What?
In fact, to put out the fire, they had to use nitrogen.
Okay, I'm sorry. So when people want to talk about like Tesla fires, maybe bring up these 2 points.
The first point is there are over 171,000 vehicle fires every year just here in the U.S. that kill 345 people every year with 1,300 injuries and $1.1 billion in property loss every year. In fact, vehicle fires account for 13% of all the fires that firefighters respond to every year.
Now, those aren't EV fires. Those are regular gas car fires. EVs make up a tiny percentage of that. In fact, EVs catch on fire at a smaller rate than gasoline-powered cars.
Yep.
I wonder why. And the second point is this. The ocean is on fire!
So the Model Y standard range rear-wheel drive is back in Hong Kong.
Awesome. Wait, what was that last part?
In Hong Kong.
Did you say in Hong Kong?
Yes. It appears that Tesla has brought back the Model Y standard range rear-wheel drive after Elon pulled it, saying that the range was unacceptable at less than 250 miles or 402 kilometers.
But it says here on the Hong Kong Tesla website that the range of the standard range is 282 miles or 455 kilometers.
Yeah, but look at the fine print right there. Because it's Hong Kong, I guess they use the WLTP standard, which, why?
Well, I mean, it is the standard of the country that it's in, so that's why they used it. So then the range is probably more like 250, 230. I mean, it's still like the standard range Model 3 range, roughly.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's sub 250.
Okay, but now let's remember that the original Model Y cost $42,000 and Tesla lowered it to $40,000 a few weeks after the launch.
It appears that the Hong Kong version, which remember is right-hand drive, starts at 329,800 Hong Kong dollars, which would be about $42,500 with delivery starting in September.
So I can't buy this car in the United States.
No, this is just for Hong Kong.
And you can't buy it in Europe. You can't get any Model Ys in Europe yet. Sorry, Europeans. Why is it only for sale in Hong Kong?
My guess is that Hong Kong is such a small-ish place. It's only 30 square miles, and so range probably isn't a big deal there.
Well, and there's like 30 superchargers all over the dang place. But I mean, was there like an incentive or something?
I couldn't find any incentive. I think that basically there's a lot of demand. They're probably, what's interesting here is they're probably making the right-hand drive in China, which might start telling us about other markets like Australia, which could be exciting for those markets. Yeah, we got to stay tuned.
Well, it's just weird that it was unacceptable range. Now they're going to be selling. I mean, and I know the WLTP is deceiving.
Well, maybe they were hoping Elon wouldn't see the WLTP part. I don't know.
He went, "Oh, great, you guys got it up," and they're like, "Yeah, in Hong Kong."
So California attorney Kevin Shenkman, a 2014 Tesla Model S owner, has filed a lawsuit on June 24th in the Superior Court of California against Tesla for breach of contract, violation of the Consumer Legal Remedies Act, violation of the False Advertising Act, violation of unfair competition law, and fraud.
Oh my God, what did Tesla do? What didn't they do?
Did Tesla say you were going to get free supercharging for life, but then you went to the supercharger and Tesla hit you with an idle fee?
That's called fraud. You have rights.
When you hire the law firm of Shenkman, we will never stop fighting for your rights to supercharge for free, for life,
for liberty,
for the pursuit of free supercharging. So Mr. Shenkman?
Yes.
What happened? Our client, the plaintiff, charged his Tesla Model S at a supercharger, and when he came back, Tesla had charged him for a fraudulent idle fee.
That was not in the original contract. There was no mention of idle fees when Tesla sold our client his car. Okay, so I understand. So what happened?
Our client wrote to Tesla, and they rescinded the idle fee. Well, that's great. Problem solved. Not great. Our client supercharged again and got charged another fee.
So what happened then? Our client refused to pay the fee, and Tesla refused to rescind the charge.
And Tesla would not allow our client to supercharge until the fee was paid. So why didn't he just pay the fee?
Yeah, I mean, the fee is charged usually between 50 cents to $1 per minute. But Tesla tells you right on the app when your car is, done charging that there is usually about a 5 to 10 minute grace period. And, you're basically icing the spot because you're not charging at the supercharger. There's no point for you to be there.
Yeah, and Tesla only charges the idle fee when the supercharger location is more than half full. So, I mean, they're only charging this fee to make the supercharger network a better place for everybody.
We are seeking our day in court to right this injustice.
This travesty.
So, I mean, look.
So Shenkman is trying to do a class action lawsuit. That means that owners would all have to be signing on to this. I haven't heard of any other owners that think that this is... He's claiming that he was given free supercharging, as many of us were. I was giving free supercharging on my car. But then he's claiming because Tesla charges an idle fee, that's not free supercharging anymore?
And they implemented the idle fee in 2016? Like, it was like on our road trip. It was right after our road trip. So it's like, this is a long time ago that they implemented this fee. Well, and they said free supercharging for life. What does that mean? Free supercharging for life, not free parking.
Right. Yeah, Mr. Shenkman, go park anywhere in the world practically, and you're going to get charged for taking up that space.
Right. You can't just park indefinitely at any location, let alone, I mean, this is a vital piece of infrastructure.
Right. So what did he think he was going to do? And also, why do you need to do it? Like, if you're going to park at a supercharger and then just disappear for a couple weeks, like, what?
Here's my guess. Yeah. He probably parked his car, went on vacation. I mean, the fee must be enormous. He must have really...
They rescinded the first fee, so he knew about it.
He knew about it. Exactly. So, I mean, I don't know how you make this mistake. I mean, I understand you're like, I went to go watch a movie by accident.
No, you know what? No, I'm sorry. I think he's doing this because he just wants to settle with Tesla and get a big payout.
I mean...
And I'm not going to stand for it. This is crap,
it's
okay?
really crappy.
And, if you get approached by Mr. Shenkman to sign on to his lawsuit, say no, because that's ridiculous.
It's really ridiculous. And honestly, everyone's going to laugh at you because it's laughable. I mean, everyone knew why the fees were being in place. It's so that way you didn't just sit at the supercharger. Right. You could... I mean, if this lawsuit goes to court and the court is for whatever reason, that would mean that everyone who ever bought a Tesla with free supercharging can now just park their car at a Tesla supercharger and not face any fees or fines or anything. It's insane. It's just so stupid. And I wish, I don't know. Look, if you bought a 2014 Model S, new, you're either the nicest person in the world or you're Kevin Shenkman.
And if you'd like to see that last story as a bite-sized clip and you want to share it with your friends, head on over to the Now You Know Clips channel where we chop up these clips so you can share them with your friends and family.
So when Tesla announced that Teslas would no longer be using radar for autopilot, the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety and Consumer Reports both removed their top safety pick ratings until the cars could be tested without radar. And of course, the news media went crazy about it because suddenly Tesla has lost their top safety pick. The cars must be super dangerous. Everyone's going to die.
Well, those new vision-only tests are now completed, and the IIHS has reinstated their top safety pick rating, saying IIHS has completed tests of the 2021 Tesla Model 3's new camera-based front crash prevention system, which rates superior for vehicle-to-vehicle interactions and advanced for pedestrian interactions.
So now both vehicles with and without radar get the IIHS superior rating for AEB.
And both get advanced for vehicle-to-pedestrian crash prevention. And Elon tweeted out, top safety pick plus from IIHS. That's the highest overall rating, but we think we can get max score for all subcategories in individual tests too. Retesting in a month or so with improved software. The improved software will then be uploaded to all cars with FSD computers.
Now, what other car company sells you a car and then makes the car safer after you've already bought the car without you having to bring it into the dealership and they, replace the bolts that, of course, rusted off the, the engine, transmission housing or whatever? Like,
is that a trick question?
It is a trick question because there's only one answer. Over-the-air updates and Tesla being good at software updates, really, really cool. But the thing that annoys me is that the news media got to go nuts, got to make a huge stink about this story about like, oh my gosh, they got rid of radar. The cars are going to crash into things because IIHS, which is like the procedure that they had to go through. But the news media is not going back and going like, oh, don't worry, everybody. It's going to be okay. No, they're off to something else.
So we had a great meetup with the Tesla Owners Club of Wisconsin last week. One of the discussion points which came up during the talk involved charging safety.
Yeah, Tesla Owners Club Wisconsin member Jordan brought up how she felt safer while charging to know that basically her car had plenty of cameras which were constantly recording. And that reminded me of an experience that I had. I had pulled into a Supercharger, and of course the Supercharger was at the top of a lonely parking garage, and I was the only person there, and it was raining. And then another car pulled in. It was not a Tesla. It was not... I was like, it was just a gas car. I was like... And they parked there, and I wanted to drive away, but I couldn't.
Wait a minute, why'd you want to drive away?
Because I didn't know what they were up to.
Oh, it was kind of sketchy?
It was sketchy. We're at the top of a parking garage.
Ah.
So what were they doing there? It was raining. It's not like they got a good view of anything. So I was like, what?
So you're feeling sketched out.
I was feeling sketched out.
But wait, you can't just drive away. You have to get out of the car and unplug the Supercharger.
So I just want to put it to you like this. It is a dark and stormy night. You are nice and warm in your car while it's at the charger. But suddenly, what walks out into the night? It's your worst nightmare. It's Man with Knife. It's Grizzly Bear. Or it's, I don't know, Dracula.
Oh no.
What do? You can't drive away. Your car won't let you. So do you get out of the car to unplug and drive away and risk getting, your blood sucked by Dracula?
No.
Or do you sit in the car and hope that they go away and don't try and enter the car, which is locked, but is just a car?
Wait, there's got to be a better option.
So on the call, we were literally on the call, and I was sitting here and I was Googling, okay, I want some kind of a thing that will allow me to drive away safely without having to get out of the car and unplug.
Right, because the car won't even go into drive when the Supercharger's plugged in.
Nope. Any charger is plugged in. It will not go anywhere. So we were looking up, like, is there some kind of breakaway adapter? Is there a remote unplugger? There's nothing. There is no solution to this problem. But this needs to be a product. And this is where you come in. If you can commercialize this product, we will advertise your product for free for 6 months.
Wow.
So I am giving you right now, you have a completely open market space. There is no one else who has made any kind of adapter that will safely allow you to unplug and drive away without having to get out of the car.
So you're talking to all the engineers and entrepreneurs of the world.
I'm saying crank open AutoCAD, crank open SolidWorks, get to work. Now, there's a couple stipulations for this competition.
Okay.
You must send us a unit, and it must work pretty much out of the box.
Okay.
The unit must allow for the car to drive away from the charger in a timely manner without requiring the driver to leave their seat.
Okay.
Leaving that pretty much wide open there, it has to somewhat limit the damage to the car or the charger. So you can't just have it be that, the car suddenly thinks that it can drive away and, you rip some part of the car.
But limited damage, you mean like it could break a little piece of plastic or something?
Yeah, I mean, it could fall out of the car and that might dent your car, or maybe it, put some strain on the charger. Just nothing catastrophic where you're going to be driving with a charge point adapter like connected to your entire car.
Okay.
Ideally, we want this to cost less than $1,000 initially. So kind of your prototype version should be able to be sold for less than that. And then in the future, we want it to be able to cost less than roughly $200 if you produce it at scale. And part of this requirement is also that you can't just hike up the price. Like if it's a $3 part, yes, you can definitely make a profit, but we're not going to...
Oh, because you want as many people to get a hold of this as possible.
Right.
Like we want to save people's lives.
I'm not going to advertise you just taking advantage of people.
Gotcha.
Next requirement is that you have to have at least a path to making a Supercharger compatible version.
Okay, so the first version could just work on level 2 chargers, but they have to have a way to get eventually to supercharging.
Right. I understand that it's probably going to be complicated, so maybe your first version can only work with level 2 chargers. I mean, we'll take that in the beginning, but of course, most people are going to be supercharging when they're going to need something like this.
Okay. Do they get any bonus points?
There are bonus points. So, I mean, I'm imagining that there's probably going to be maybe more than one person working on this. So if it can supercharge, that's huge bonus points.
Okay.
If the unit can be reused,
okay,
that's a bonus point. I mean, if it can't, that's fine. But if it can be reused, that's bonus. If the unit can stay with the car in the event of you driving off into the night away from Dracula, that's bonus points. And then I know that there's other functionality that we're not thinking of that you could include. Those would all be bonus points.
So is there a deadline?
Yes. The deadline for getting us working prototypes is October 15th. Please reach out to us at hello@nowyouknowchannel.com. I'm really excited about this. I really think that, you know, here's a huge segment of the market that is completely not being helped at all.
This is a good point, because if you're refueling at a gas station in a gas car and a bear was attacking you, you could drive away.
Right.
It would pull off the hose, but those are usually breakaway, and so, you know,
you're going to be fine. Your car probably won't be damaged, at least not significantly,
right,
and you're going to get away scot-free. Electric cars, smart that you can't, you know, drive away absent-mindedly. That's why they made the breakaway. It wasn't for emergencies, but because your car is so smart, now you are a sitting duck at a charger.
Are you worried that we're going to have unintended consequences here where, you know, you get into the car and you start to drive away and you forget that you're plugged in?
So, I mean, the thing is, this adapter would not allow you to do that. So the car needs to think that it's not charging, and which means that you're going to have to, this adapter is probably going to have to disconnect the charging when you initiate it.
Oh, so like on an app on your phone or something, and
either an app or
like
some kind of
it.
Wi-Fi button or Bluetooth button or something like that.
Oh, I see. So you wouldn't be able to just inadvertently leave. You'd have to have made an extra step.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I mean, again, if it can save anyone from avoiding any kind of sketchy situation, whether or not they would have been in grave danger, I think it's a completely viable product in my mind.
And do they get to name it, or do we get to name it?
They absolutely get to name it.
Darn, I don't get to name it?
I mean, any kind of breakaway cable, I think it would give peace of mind for people who kind of might have realized at some point that they're a sitting duck at a charger, that they're going to have to either get out of the car. And I mean, of course, I have stuff under my seat that I can pull out and make most people maybe want to turn around, but that's not going to be true for everyone. And honestly, just avoiding the situation is always going to be preferable.
All right, so Tesla owners online tweeted this out. Congrats on the record-breaking quarter, Elon and Tesla. It's time to release the Kraken. Give us the update on this. And of course, this is the Cybertruck.
Elon responded. He said, Friday afternoons are usually Tesla design studio time. Cybertruck will be almost exactly what was shown. We're adding rear wheel steering so it can do tight turns and maneuver with high agility. Lots of other great things coming. So he just said,
hang on.
Whoa, slow down. Hang on. We'll go back. He just said the Cybertruck will be almost exactly what they showed, except that it's going to have rear wheel steering, which, excuse me, is a huge deal. What?
Yes, this is a huge deal. For those of you who are like, what is rear wheel steering? We don't see this on many vehicles. We did hear that the Hummer EV is going to have it. And so Hummer EV will be able to do two very important things. One is crab walk. So what is that?
Crab walk allows in the case of Hummer, the rear wheels can turn slightly and the front wheels can turn in the same direction, and you can
to move diagonally.
Move forward, but also diagonally, which is interesting. We haven't really seen a car do that before.
But you'll also be able to turn the rear wheels in the opposite direction, which allows you to do tighter turns. And what's that good for?
That is going to be good for, I mean, yeah, just bringing down your turning radius, which means that you don't have to do, a 16-point turn anymore. Maybe you get away with just, banging a Yui in the middle of just a little street that normally you'd say like a Hummer can't make that turn.
We drove with the trailer a lot on the Model X, and I learned a whole bunch of things about trailering that I didn't know about before, and we're going to have a pickup truck soon. And I think with rear wheel steering, can I call it RWS?
Sure, why not?
With RWS, you should be able to do a whole lot more maneuverability with the trailer. Like, for instance, when you're backing up a trailer, we all kind of know what a pain that is. Shouldn't you be able to do like all sorts of new, tighter turn radiuses if you can turn the back wheels?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of opens up a whole new world of of maneuvers that you can do with the vehicle, because normally, and I mean, like, you know, go back 20 years, the only way that you could do RWS would be to just like have it manually linked to something. So you couldn't do anything smart. It would just be, you know, whatever the steering wheel does, it's going to kind of help you. And maybe, you know, you'd have like a clunk and you'd be able to turn it off or on, kind of like four-wheel drive. And now that both of those, at least on the tri-motor, now that both of those wheels are going to have their own motor, yeah, you can do a whole bunch of crazy stuff.
Couldn't you have on the app a guy get out of the truck and you could be maneuvering the rear wheels while I'm backing up? And that way, like, we could be doing all this fine-tuned stuff. I mean, I don't know. There's just like endless ideas coming to mind.
I mean, depending. So like on the Hummer, for example, the wheels only turn about 15 degrees. The Cybertruck, we have no idea. I mean, the Cybertruck could have the same turning radius on the rear wheels as they do on the front. And what that could allow you to do would be to just drive the truck backwards. Like, I know you can put cars in reverse. This would be different because instead of, like, you know, when you're backing up and you're backing up a little too quickly, it kind of gets a little unstable. You wouldn't have that anymore. It would simply be, you'd be able to just drive the car backwards and forwards in the exact same way.
I think that this was so smart. Elon released the Cybertruck and then waited to tell us that, oh, here's a little update. I waited to see what Rivian could do. I waited to see what Hummer can do. Ford F-150 can't do this, so here's what we can do. And now you might be thinking, wait a minute, Rivian's going to have tank turns. And I think tank turns are really nifty. But the more I've been thinking about it, a tank turn is basically a parlor trick. Because think about this. You drive into the forest and you get stuck. You can only tank turn if you have about 20 feet of width in the road and if the road is relatively flat. If you're packed in there between two trees, tank turn ain't going to help you.
Right. And, I mean, like, again, tank turns are cool. Tank turns are not going to help you do anything with a trailer.
No, that's true.
I mean, we don't know what's going to happen, if this is going to be an option, if this is going to be something that completely disappears. Like, it was just something that him and Franz were talking about that day, and he decided to tweet it out. So we don't know. But if it was an option, and even if it was really expensive, Ford does not have that as an option. You can't buy any Ford product with that. The Hummer is the only thing that has it, as far as I can tell. And correct me if I'm wrong in the comments section. I'm sure I'm forgetting some.
Well, speaking of comments, please comment below what you'd be willing to pay for that option on the Cybertruck.
Because, again, we don't even know the different, like, modes this thing could have. It could be, I mean, it could practically parallel park itself, like, super easy. It doesn't have to turn completely 90 degrees. It can just kind of, if the rear wheels could turn more so than the Hummers, then you could crab walk into tight parking spaces in just a couple moves.
Well, you know how Ford Lightning has trailer assist.
Right.
What if Cybertruck has a similar feature and it can do even more?
Because I mean, look, I'm not a huge trailer guy, but imagine if you could steer the rear wheels of the truck. Now you're able to kind of steer the trailer. So instead of having to do a much wider turn, you could kind of steer the trailer out while moving your front end forward. You're kind of drifting the car without spinning the wheels. You could do a lot of cool things that we just haven't seen before, haven't been really possible before, because normally you'd have to drive all of the wheels in the same way and you'd have to come up with a differential that could deal with all that stuff. Now you don't have to worry about hardly any of it. The transmission, problem goes completely away. It's going to be really cool to see what can be accomplished.
You know who's going to be talking about this?
The Cybertruck Owners Club.
Yeah, Tesla Time News is sponsored by Cybertruck Owners Club. There you're going to find a crowdsourced reservation tracker where you can update your place in line. And you can check out their website for Cybertruck news, discussions, and community for Cybertruck enthusiasts and future owners. Well, we poke fun at Honda all the time for not really having any electric models. Sure, there was the Clarity compliance car that had a teeny tiny range.
And the Honda E, which Honda decided not to release in the US. Thanks a lot, Honda.
But Honda has finally decided to get on the EV train, announcing their first volume battery electric vehicle, the Prologue. Ta-da!
Where is it? All I see is a glass wall with the word Prologue on. Is it invisible?
No, it's not invisible.
I mean, we thought the rear wheel steering was cool.
Yeah, it's not
invisible car.
It's not an invisible car. It's just that Honda hasn't told us anything about it, but they did say that this SUV will be coming to market in early 2024, and it will use GM's Ultium powertrain.
Wait. So Honda's not even going to make it themselves?
They'll start making their own models in the second half of this decade. They're also going to produce an all-electric Acura SUV in 2024, but again, that'll be built on GM's Ultium platform. So
wait. So a Japanese company has turned to an American company, which has in turn turned to a Korean company. This has gone around the world twice already.
Right.
Just to make a Honda battery-powered EV that's invisible?
It's not invisible.
I mean, you can't argue that it isn't yet.
True.
Because we haven't seen it.
Maybe it's invisible.
Could be invisible. Which, honestly,
then it would be cool.
I would buy that.
Okay. So RJ Scaringe, the CEO of Rivian, tweeted out a video of the upcoming R1T camp kitchen and a walkthrough with the lead project engineer for the camp kitchen, Rachel Jukes.
So first we get to see the different components and how the gear shuttle slides it out. We get to see the 2-burner cooktop, the sink module, the water tank with a pump so you can clean all your dishes in that little
And it's
sink,
an electric pump, and it turns on when you turn on the little spray hose.
which is pretty cool. And then you get to take the sink out and dump it out if you want to.
There's those drawers with the whole cooking set all snug in their little nests.
Right. And so we get to answer some questions like, can you remove the camp kitchen from the gear shuttle? And yes, you can. And it comes in 3 components, and they're all on a T-slot. Really, really clever engineering here. I like the 110 outlets that are on the gear shuttle, and then you have 2 12-volt outlets inside.
But hang on.
Yeah?
I have a question that RJ didn't answer.
Okay. Yeah. What are you worried about? I mean, this looks amazing.
My question is, where's my R1T? It's July 5th, and I have had no word from Rivian. Where's my Rivian guide that I'm supposed to get to tell me about, here's your Rivian guide who will walk you through the whole thing?
What? Because it was supposed to come out in June.
Yep.
And now it's July.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to come out in July.
But I haven't. I signed up the first day.
Yep.
I got my little picture. Hang on. See? Got my little picture.
Yeah.
Of the R1T. I even signed up the first day for the R1S.
Yeah.
So I'm in the top, I think, 3,000.
Right.
And
well, but aren't you excited about the nested? And they have like a pour over coffee.
I'm
thing?
super excited about it. I signed up to get it. We want to show it to you guys. So
Okay.
But where is it?
And we really haven't heard anything from.
Well, it's the summertime. I'd like to go camping and show you guys it because, before long, we're going to have the Cybertruck. And I thought, be nice to have a few months alone with the Rivian just to explore it.
And then summer doesn't last forever here. I'm not going to go camping.
It's almost over.
I'm not going to go camping in November.
No.
So, yeah, where is it?
I don't know. I just kind of felt slighted that RJ's showing off things like, and check out the camping thing.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I know the camping thing.
Yeah.
Want the truck?
Where's the truck, Lebowski? So just in case you forget, we're going to leave the picture right there.
Until I get my truck.
And we're going to have the Cybertruck's coming, bitch. As soon as we get the camp kitchen, we can talk about it before we have to do the sledgehammer test on the Rivian. It's not going to look so good.
I didn't agree to the sledgehammer
What are you
test.
talking about? We got the Cybertruck, Rivian, we got a head-to-head test. Sledgehammer test.
So Arcimoto is teaming up with California-based Lightning Motorcycles to build Arcimoto's first tilting 3-wheel electric trike.
Now, remember that Arcimoto acquired tilting motors earlier this year.
Now, I don't remember hearing much about Lightning motors, though.
Yeah, they're an EV motorcycle company that it's been really focused on speed, not really production.
So here to give us more on this partnership is Arcimoto's CEO, Mark Frohnmeyer.
Morning, Zach and Jesse. Wanted to introduce you to the tilting division of Arcimoto. As you guys know, earlier this year, we bought a company called Tilting Motorworks. And what Tilting Motorworks builds is a leaning front end technology for 2-wheeled motorcycles to turn them into 3-wheelers. And they have they built conversion kits for Harleys, for Indians, big touring bikes. And where I'm at, you have an example here. This is one with the nose off. It is an incredibly clever architecture and patented system for making a 3-wheeler lean just like a 2-wheeled bike. We also have, this is actually their first prototype, and then the one next to it is the one that Bob Mile set the land speed record at Bonneville Salt Flats for a 3-wheeled motorcycle a few years back. As you guys saw, we just announced that we're collaborating with Lightning Motorcycles to build what we think is going to be the world's fastest, electric or not, tilting 3-wheeled vehicle. And what's important about this is to me, this is really a validation of the technology under the most extraordinary and extreme circumstances. we didn't actually buy Tilting Motor Works to convert motorcycles. That wasn't the original purpose. We have been collaborating with Bob now for some time on a true micromobility product that we think is going to be a huge win in the electric scooter, electric bike type of a space. But proving that the tech works at the fully opposite end, beyond ludicrous end of the spectrum, we think is an important validator. And so I'm going to give you guys just a little sneak peek of where we're at with that collaboration. Here it is. This is the Lightning's LS218. Same bike, I think, that they used to set the land speed record a few years back, and then they took on Pikes Peak and beat all the other bikes, gas and electric. Took the team about 2 weeks to adapt the kit to the bike, and we're going to be showing it off publicly for the first time at our showcase later on this month.
Well, thank you, Mark. That's good, because I didn't understand before. I was like, what is this partnership about? So basically, it's a kit that's going to be used on the bike. And that makes sense because, Tilting Motors is still a company making stuff. And so they're probably like, hey, while we're helping you on, the Arcimoto 3-wheel tilting, we still need to be making kits for other electric bikes. So that makes sense.
Speaking of high-speed electric vehicles, we just reviewed a new e-scooter on our Now Let's Review channel, the Phantom by Apollo. And this thing is a beast.
Yeah, it's got two 1,200-watt motors, one in each wheel, and it reaches a top speed of 38 miles an hour.
Now, this is not your typical Lime scooter. This is a high-performance scooter with fantastic acceleration and amazing suspension. This is a scooter that you get for super fun riding, but also if you're doing heavy commuting. So you get your commute done faster on a Phantom.
It is really well built with a massive battery and a top range of almost 40 miles. You and Ethan reviewed this on the Now Let's Review channel, so if you want to see what the scooter can do, what it costs, and all the specs, don't forget to subscribe to our Now Let's Review channel, where we are constantly reviewing the latest e-mobility products that fit all budgets. Well, if you're thinking of mounting your Starlink dish to the hood of your car, you might want to rethink that.
I mean, we drove around and tested our Starlink, but we always stop first and then put the dish on our car.
Well, this guy didn't. He just mounted the dish directly to the hood of his car.
Wait. You mean the roof of his car?
No. I mean the hood of his car.
You mean the front hood of the car in front of where you're looking?
Right.
Okay.
And he got a ticket from the California Highway Patrol. Now, we are going to recreate for you what happened. And action.
Sir, I stopped you today for that visual obstruction on your hood. Does it not block your view while driving?
Only when I make right turns, officer. And cut.
The driver of the red Toyota Prius with the Starlink dish mounted to the hood of his car told the officer that he was using the dish to get Wi-Fi service for a business they operate out of their car.
So what kind of business could you operate, while you're driving? I didn't even think the dish worked while you're driving. Does he park and then get Wi-Fi?
Maybe he's a live streamer.
Maybe.
It's a great use case for it. Bad implementation, in my opinion.
Yes. The question I have, though, is if he had mounted it to the roof of his car, would he have gotten pulled over? It's not blocking his vision.
It's not blocking his vision. I've seen lots of crazy stuff strapped to the roof of cars, so I assume that it would be fine. I don't know why he would think that the hood of his car would be the right place for a giant white circle. But yeah, my first thought was roof, really.
Right.
I didn't look at the Starlink dish and go like, the hood of my car is where I want that to be.
So the end of an era is upon us. BMW has announced it will stop selling the iconic i3 electric car next month in the US.
This was one of the first electric vehicles that we drove. Do you remember the good times we had driving it?
Yeah, I'll never forget those thin little tires and that cute little frunk that could barely hold a gallon of milk.
And remember those suicide doors that open without a B-pillar?
Oh, yes, and the carbon fiber frame. How can I forget?
Yeah. And that control wheel that you'd have to dial almost everything. That was the only...
It took forever.
There's no touch screen.
I'd like to go to B.
Right.
A.
Yeah. You could write on it. If you got the premium version of it. Right. You could write on it with your finger and be right about half the time.
Well, as BMW begins launching their next-generation electric vehicles like the i4 and the iX and the iX3, the final production for the i3 is scheduled to end this month in the US.
Sales of the i3 peaked in the US in 2015 with 11,000 units, and it's dropped off rapidly since then. You know, this was a compliance car of BMW since I guess we're never going to talk about it ever again. I guess I should say, you know, it was a great little car. It was a great little car. I know a lot of people hate the design. I kind of liked the design. I'm glad that they spent a lot of work on carbon fiber.
Yeah, exactly. I love the effort they put into keeping it light.
Right. Like, it didn't end up working out for a lot of people because you'd get into a small accident. It would crack the carbon fiber, and then your car was now totaled, even though it was completely, you know, looking fine. So, I mean, like, there's good and there's bad. It
didn't do well in New England winters with those thin tires.
Right.
You know?
I mean, it was like a real concept car brought to life, which was neat for BMW because usually they're just showing, it's just the BMW M3.
The surprise was that it took so long to come out with their next model.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe someone at BMW thought that the transition would be a little bit smoother. Because, I mean, remember, there was the i8 as well. I don't know if they're still making that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
All right, well, Eli is here again with us for the Starman Report, and this is the 20th segment we've done together.
So, great job, Eli.
Welcome back to the Starman Report. The trolling continues in the proverbial battle between Jeff
who?
and Elon Musk this week. But before I explain what happened, let me give a bit of context. So Blue Origin owes some of their BE4 engines to ULA for upcoming launches of ULA's Vulcan rocket. And Blue Origin has been experiencing technical challenges with the engines, and it may not be qualified in time to support ULA's 2021 launches. So in the space and SpaceX communities, there's been a running joke with the punchlines, "Where's my engines, Jeff?" And the meme lord did not miss an opportunity to pile on this by responding to a post from ULA CEO Tory Bruno saying, "When do my engines arrive?" Winky face emoji. And after Tory responded with an offer of a tour, Elon made his own offer to bring a few engines just in case. This turned out only to be the beginning of this week's drama, as Richard Branson, the man behind Virgin Galactic and Virgin Orbit, jumped into the fray when he was asked this during a CNBC interview.
Just one question. Are you trying to beat Jeff Bezos into space?
Jeff who?
Jeff Bezos. You've got till July 20th, I think.
If Jeff ever had a chance of moving past the Jeff Who meme, that is over now. Now, if the price to go to space on board a Blue Origin rocket or the Virgin Galactic space plane are too high, there is another option coming. The company Space Perspective plans to offer balloon flights into space. The peak altitude of the space balloon will be about 100,000 feet, which is not as high as Blue Origin suborbital flights or the Virgin 1 space plane, which will reach 300,000 feet. But the balloon has one distinct advantage, and that is the length of the experience. In the Neptune 1 space balloon, you will get a full 2 hours at apogee. That means peak altitude. The first 300 seats for flights in 2024 have already sold out, but you can secure a seat for 2025 for the cost of $125,000 per Space Explorer. If this is something you're interested in, you can secure your place today with a $1,000 deposit. Last but not least, we have an update down at Starbase. SpaceX has begun rolling out the Super Heavy booster to the pad, and they appear to be on schedule to conduct a test flight of it later this month. Thank you so much for watching this segment of the Starman Report, and I look forward to having you back for more of the most exciting news in space.
Jeff who?
Jeff who? Can we get that as a shirt, please? Thank you very much.
So check out the adventures of Starman, and there's a whole bunch of cool things on the Starman website. Go to starmangifts.com and check it out. All right, it's time for Into the Future. And autonomous buses are popping up everywhere, it seems. At the University of Waterloo in Canada last week, this cute little 7-passenger Watono bus, all electric with 6 cameras and 3 lidars, started making its rounds on the university's campus. With a top speed of only 20 kilometers an hour, this bus has been worked on by Professor Amir Kajapur, a professor of mechatronics.
What's mechatronics?
Mechatronics. I have no idea. What is mechatronics?
It's a thing. It's just a different
Sounds
kind
cool.
It's usually more robot-y kind of stuff.
They didn't have that when I was a kid, did they?
No, they didn't.
That's
they weren't
awesome.
robots when you were a kid.
It'll run for 3 hours during peak times to make 5 stops, and you'll hail it using a smartphone app. They're hoping to have 5 buses up and running eventually, and once they get permission from the Canadian Department of Transportation, there will only be a remote safety driver. It'll be driverless.
And there's a very similar looking concept being trialed at Yosemite National Park. Teddy The electric driverless demonstration at Yellowstone, named after Teddy Roosevelt, similarly will be doing autonomous testing with a safety attendant. The National Park Service will be conducting tests this summer to see how Teddy handles. And it's so funny that we're seeing all of these different companies making all of these very similar looking autonomous buses, all with safety attendants, all at the very same time.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? Campuses and places like Yosemite have slow speeds, so that takes a lot of the pressure off. And it means that if there is an accident, it's probably not going to be more than a fender bender. So yeah, this is a great kind of introductory way to get people into autonomy. And then once they've ridden on these buses and it's worked, I assume a lot of them will be like, hey, autonomous cars, it's a thing.
Well, and the interesting part is because the slow speeds make it so much easier for a computer to do anything. I mean, remember the first time you ever like drove on a highway, things were happening a lot faster than you're used to, going at slower speeds. So all of these buses can kind of get away with being autonomous because they're going to be at such slow speeds.
Yeah.
And that's why there's so many different teams and like small companies that are able to accomplish this.
And there's money there.
There is, because yeah, campuses need something, and having something like this looks futuristic, lets everyone know, don't worry, we're on top of this.
Well, and let's just remember, these are electric, so you're not getting that diesel bus as it sits there waiting for passengers for 2 minutes, and you're just like...
Yeah, I think for campuses, something like this could work well into the future.
All right, it's time for Going Green, and we are sponsored, of course, by EcoWare, where you can find new designs every week. We now plant 10 trees for every order, and thanks to our friends at the Eden Restoration Projects for making that possible. And don't forget, send in your photos of your EcoWare, and if we use your photo, you could win a free EcoWare gift card. And check out the new Jeff Who design is here.
I really do want to see someone maybe... You know, if you head down to Boca Chica, get a picture with the Jeff Who and the Starship behind you. I mean,
extra points.
There's still time, I think, before Starship launches that you could do both of those two things.
So what if you're the community of Oxnard, California, and you don't want a new natural gas peaker plant to be built in your community?
But what will we do when the grid needs extra power, like during a really hot day and everyone turns on their AC?
Well, you could build this instead. This is the Satakoy Battery Storage Project, 142 Tesla Megapacks. So that's 100 megawatts or 400 megawatt hours of Tesla batteries that just went online to do what a gas peaker plant would have done.
Instead of taking years to build like a gas power plant, this battery was built in just 9 months.
Carmen Ramirez is Ventura County's District 5 supervisor, and she said, saying no to a gas peaker plant and yes to battery stored energy has provided our community with a non-polluting power plant, increased our tax base, and created good jobs and ultimately better health for the people. This project is truly a testament to Oxnard's determination and resilience to modernize and better our community.
This new battery can now power Oxnard for 4 hours and is one of Tesla's largest installations in the country. Now, I think a lot of people get worried and they're like, only 4 hours? Oh no! Again, it's a peaker plant is not supposed to come online and take over all the power needs for an entire city.
It just fills in that little gap that would have been lost if like all the ACs go on at one time.
Right. That's what a peaker plant does, and this is going to be able to do it even better.
Cheaper,
and it actually can make money, as we've talked about before.
Right.
It can be buying and selling electricity instead of just burning stuff to sell it, where it has to be just buying fuel and selling electricity.
And I think this bodes well for Tesla's energy department to be making a lot more sales in the next few quarters.
Exactly. There's going to be so many different cities that, they're going to have to put more power online, unfortunately. And one of the things they could be pointing to is like, hey, well, Oxnard did it. You can do it too. All right. That's a pretty easy argument to make. Now it's time for Sunspots.
MGM Resorts, or MGM, ticker symbol, the company that owns 13 hotels on the Las Vegas Strip, like the Aria, the MGM Grand, and the Mirage, is building a 100-megawatt solar farm just north of Las Vegas in the desert. That's 640 acres, or 323,000 solar panels.
Wow. This solar farm will be capable of powering 90% of the daytime power to these 13 resorts. That's 36,000 rooms and 65 million square feet of not like an office building. It's a casino. So there's lights and lots of fun, crazy stuff happening.
Yeah. Bill Hornbuckle, the CEO and president of MGM Resorts, says, with MGM Resorts' significant scale and resources, we're positioned to make a meaningful difference in the fight against climate change, and we recognize our responsibility to build a more environmentally sustainable future. And I just want to say, pat on the back there, something I didn't really think was high on the minds of a casino.
But, casinos like making money, and it's
solar makes money.
Great way to save some money there.
And if you'd like to save some money by putting solar on your house, call our friends at Energy Pal. They're there to answer the hard questions that you have that are up-to-the-minute questions. A lot of people have questions that are like, you can't just look up in a book. Things are changing all the time with prices and new modules. Energy Pal has the answers. So go to the link down below, and they will help answer those for you for free.
Yeah, they're not going to bust your kneecaps like MGM Grand.
All right, it's time for our video contributor story. What do we got this week?
We've got Thomas's Blink fiasco.
Hi, Zach. Hi, Jesse. This is Sweet Tea, a longtime fan of the show. I just wanted to share with everybody the experience that I had over the weekend. The wife and I were out driving around. We were enjoying the weekend, taking the Tesla for a drive. Well, on the way home, the wife asked if we could stop off at IKEA. It being a beautiful day and in such a great mood, I said, yeah, let's go ahead and stop. Well, it just so happens that it was a very busy day that day at IKEA. And after driving around for some time, the only location that we could find to park was an EV location. Well, we have an EV, we have a beautiful Tesla Model 3. And it just so happens that this EV spot was for EV charging only. It was on the Blink charging network. I've never used the Blink charging network, so I said, okay, well, not a problem. Let me go ahead and download the app and let's see if I could start. Strike one was when I tried to do it as a guest, it wouldn't let me do it. So I said, okay, well, let me just go ahead and create an account and sign up. So I was able to get my account created, add funds to the account, and lo and behold, the charger is not working. How do I find out? The app tells me, not the actual screen on the charger. Okay, no problem. Let me move to another charger. Get to that charger, try to start that charger, and after fighting with it for about 10 minutes, I finally get it to actually charge. How do I know that it's actually charging? The only way I could really tell is on the upper thin ribbon of the screen, there's an actual number that tells you how many kilowatts and how much money is being charged per kilowatt. Now, mind you guys, if you haven't seen this, it's a very large screen, and the only way to tell if it's charging is that upper ribbon corner area. It is horrible. The rest is just poorly utilized space that says Blink hello. I mean, what's that, right? So we walk away thinking, okay, finally got it to start charging, we're good. Well, guess what? About a minute later, I get a notification from my Tesla saying I'm no longer charging. Come to find out that none of the actual chargers, which were 4 total stalls, were actually working correctly. There was other people plugged in as well, and none of them were charging either. It looked like they had attempted to charge, but had the same fate as I did. And all this illustrates is that if you're not on the Tesla network and you're using a third-party charging networks, it's a very poor user experience. And if I wasn't on the Tesla network and I was a new EV owner, I would be very upset about that, because that's the user experience as a new EV owner that they're going to have. And that is awful. With the ultimate goal to be fewer ICE vehicles on the road and a quicker adoption rate of EVs everywhere, I really think that this needs to be solved sooner rather than later, because otherwise we won't get that quick adoption from ICE owners that are trying to make the switch and do the right thing. So Blink, if you're watching this or listening to this, please do something to fix your network. It was a horrible experience. I give it a 1 out of 10. And let's get this fixed for all EVs. So I just wanted to share my little experience with you. Thanks a lot, guys. Now you know.
Well, that wasn't fun.
No. And, this is something that I've encountered as well. You pull up to a thing, and oh, well, the lights are on. Maybe it's working. And then it's not working. And you're like, okay, because really should be working.
All right, it's time for the Patreon bonus stories, and we're going to Hawaii to show you this story. You might want to come along. If you do, head on over to patreon.com/nowyouknow, and for as little as $1 a month, you can find out what's happening in Hawaii.
We're not really going to Hawaii.
Oh, we're not?
Sorry. All right, we're back from the Patreon bonus stories, and well, one of the stories we did this week was so important that we wanted to make sure that you could see it. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it on our Now You Know Clips channel. So head over to the Now You Know Clips channel. We have a story about an Exxon Mobil executive who kind of spilled the beans. Not on purpose.
And he didn't know he was, yeah.
So please go check that out. Share that with everyone that you know who breathes air, lives on the earth, and, doesn't like to be burnt alive and
I'll put the
drowned.
link right there.
Yeah, we'll put the link right up there. Go check it out.
All right, it's time for the Patreon shout-outs. Who do we have this week?
We have W.T. Lloyd,
Stuart Clark,
Cody,
Karamo Karoma,
Todd Gleason,
Steve Addington,
Jay Carey,
Joe Sipox,
Pancho Pantera, J. Lorera,
Andre Gervais,
Christy Q,
Glenn Buckner,
David I. Blatt,
Sky Malcolm,
Jonathan Bell,
Michael L. Ablin,
Eric Vaterlos,
Sean Roos,
Travis Woods,
Simon Bourlain,
Psionic Resonator,
Andrew Davis,
Daniel Goldberg,
and Rodolfo Castillo.
Thank you so much for supporting this channel. We can't do it without you.
All right, it's time for Elon's tweets of the week, and buckle up again because there's a lot of them. May Musk, Elon's mom, said, "Happy birthday, Elon. Thank you for this wonderful day 50 years ago. You have brought me great joy, lots of love." And Elon said, "Thanks for all the happy birthday wishes." He got quite a few. Mike Smallstar said, "Happy birthday, Elon. Enjoy this catching system designed to help SpaceX bring humanity to Mars." So check this out. Pretty cool, huh?
It's interesting. I was expecting that thing to be a landing pad, but it's just like a little fire blocker.
Yeah,
so that way you just put it right down on the next rocket and shoot it back up.
And Elon said, "Not bad. Maybe you got yourself a job. Who knows?" SpaceX tweeted out the live cast of the Transporter 2 mission, but it got scrubbed.
Elon said, "Unfortunately, launch is called off for today as an aircraft entered the keep out zone, which is unreasonably gigantic. There is simply no way that humanity can become a spacefaring civilization without major regulatory reform. The current regulatory system is broken."
We are not going to Mars until we fix this.
So there was a plane that flew into the no-fly zone, which is too big.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you draw a big box and you probably cut the corner,
And then you scrub the launch.
Scrub the launch.
Wow.
Michael Baylor said, "Elon provides a more realistic schedule for the Starship orbital attempt than previous July target."
And Elon responded, he said, "There is the internal goal, if things go right, which needs to be aggressive. Obviously, some things will not go right internally, and there will be external issues too. That said, I think we could stack an orbital ship on a orbital booster in July."
All right, so we can stack them. That's good. Then S. Padre said, "Wow, got back just in time to see the very first super heavy booster. Holy crap, it's huge. Hard to imagine Starship on top."
And Exception said, "I still can't believe it. Starship has unused volume for people/payload. Super Heavy is way bigger than Starship, and it's all fuel."
And Elon corrected him. Actually, almost 80% liquid oxygen.
I mean, you're burning it. It's fuel. I mean, actually, come on, Elon, you nerd.
Whole Mars Catalog said, "Now that another Pure Vision autopilot release has gone out in production with Smart Summon and max speed raised to 80 miles an hour, FSD Beta 9 can't be too far behind. Perfecting Pure Vision was the bottleneck."
Elon said, "Yeah."
Elon tweeted out, "Rapidly reusable rockets, RRR." And then pirate emoji?
It's the Jolly Roger.
I see.
Flown by pirates. It's to intimidate, which is pretty intimidating to the rest of the spacefaring industry.
I guess so. Michael Sheet says, "Is SpaceX spending much time or money refurbishing the Falcon 9 boosters between launches, or is it just cleaning and inspection still? I know 10 reflights was the expected milestone for needing significant refurbishment."
Elon said, "Work needed between flights is less and less, as shown by shortening time between flights. Required work between flights for Starship and Super Heavy is 0. I don't know how he knows that since they haven't launched one yet, but that's what he's hoping for.
And get ready for the fight here. Chad Bowman said, "Tori Bruno, can you compete with this? Do you fear Vulcan might be dead on arrival, or does Vulcan have some other advantages?"
So I have some questions. Who's Tori Bruno and what's Vulcan?
So Tori Bruno is the CEO of ULA, United Launch Alliance.
Okay, and he's a Vulcan?
No, Vulcan is their rocket engine.
Okay, so he's not from Star Trek.
No, not that I know of.
Okay, so human.
Human.
In charge of ULA.
Yes.
Okay, great. Tori Bruno said, yes, already have 1 over 30 missions. I don't know what the commas were for. No, many.
So no, he doesn't fear Vulcan might be dead. And yes, there's other advantages.
There are many other advantages.
Right.
Okay.
And Elon said ULA would be dead as a doornail without the 2 launch provider Department of Defense requirement. If this is not true, then you won't have a problem removing it. Your parent company, Lockheed, darkened the skies with lobbyists to ensure F-35 was single source. Seems a little inconsistent. Went on to say, now this sort of nonsense happens all the time with government contracts and everyone knows it. However, in this case, it is money diverted from making life multiplanetary, which is the goal of SpaceX, versus the ULA goal of maximizing dividends to Lockheed and Boeing. Not okay.
Wow. So, I mean, this is like...
this is gloves off, I think.
Poking a pretty big bear.
Yeah.
There. Okay.
Tori came back with this. Competition is healthy for the industry and customers. Our nation is better off for having the broader industrial base we now enjoy as a result. I congratulate you on your considerable accomplishments. We are also proud of ours.
Elon responded. He said, your company said the exact opposite in 2014 when it got a sole source, uncompeted $11 billion Department of Defense launch contract. And then he cited his source. In any event, expendable rockets are as relevant to the future as expendable aircraft. Rapidly reusable rockets are all that matter.
Elon went on to say, what is not well understood is that ULA still has a monopoly carve-out for U.S. government launches for which SpaceX is not allowed to compete, costing the taxpayer twice as much per launch than it should. This is obviously not real competition. But then he said,
but I guess I should take my own advice and just work on saving the things I love. Well, you already kind of destroyed the things that you hate. So, yeah, I guess now what else is left for you to do? What a knockout, drag-out fight.
Yeah, this isn't over yet, I don't think. Eric Berger, the author of Liftoff, said, as easy as it is to dunk on Jeff Bezos for not reaching orbit in 20 years or being late with his rocket engines, he gets an A+ for his knowledge of and appreciation of space history.
And Elon said, true.
That's kind of a diss if you think about it.
Yeah.
Dirty Tesla said, Tesla Vision is seriously killing it. First Tesla challenge leads to a 0 intervention drive home from work. Very comfortable maneuvers as well.
Elon said, yeah, it's next level and will just keep getting better with more training data from Fleet. Tesla Sim team is also crushing it.
PC Gamer says, rumor has it that a Dead Space reboot is in development.
Elon said, Dead Space 2 was great.
Carlos V said, how do you have time to play?
Elon said, these days, I mostly just play Polytopia, which comes free with every Tesla. And then he showed himself apparently on the leaderboard. Is Revus 54321 Elon Musk?
I think so.
So he's beating a lot of people at Polytopia, which is it's not like an easy game.
No, it's not.
It's kind of a complicated game.
Holmar's Catalog tweeted out Tesla versus Ford EV sales. And whoa, quite a difference there.
Ooh.
He said, remember when the Mach-E was supposed to be the Tesla killer? They can't even kill Q1 sales. Ba-dum-bum. Another Tesla killer acquitted of all charges. The media scrutinizes Tesla like it was led by Satan himself. Meanwhile, Legacy Auto's EV efforts get a smile and applause. And Elon tweeted out a South Park reference. Tesla owners of Silicon Valley replying to Elon, can we get passenger safe profiles? It'll be helpful when regular passengers get into the car.
Elon said, yes. Long-term, all settings will be in your Tesla app and car will auto-adjust. So he said yes to this before. I think he said yes to this a lot of times. Passenger... their seat will auto-adjust based on, you were thinking cameras?
Yeah, I think, but the weird thing is here, he didn't say in 2 weeks, he said long-term. What does that mean?
Well, but yes, period. Long-term, all settings will be in your, so... I mean, yeah, no, it does sound like this might not be happening anytime soon. So I don't know.
What About It said, China has just announced its plans to execute a first crewed landing on Mars in 2033. The next space race has officially begun.
Elon said, epic.
Nice.
So.
Tesla owners of Silicon Valley said, when is SpaceX sending the first crew to Mars?
Elon said 2 weeks, which is a great joke. I mean, when was he actually saying it? It was like 2024?
Yeah, 2024.
So 3 years?
Yeah. David Nagy said, all right, Elon, where's my Starship presentation? We've been waiting almost 2 years, and given we're close to the orbital flight, I believe it's warranted.
Elon said, fair enough.
Popo Muscanity showed SpaceX's Starship at 120 meters and Blue Origin's New Shepard at 18 meters and said, size matters.
Elon said there's a big difference between reaching space and reaching orbit. And
Jeff who?
Jeff who?
Zach tweeted out, changed my car's name just for you, Elon.
2 weeks.
Elon said, haha, FSD 9 beta is shipping soon. I swear, generalized self-driving is a hard problem as it requires solving a large part of real-world AI. Didn't expect it to be so hard, but the difficulty is obvious in retrospect. Nothing has more degrees of freedom than reality.
Yeah. Do you think he used this excuse at school? Like,
maybe.
Nothing is more complicated than this homework you assigned to me.
Yeah, that's a D there.
Well, I mean, in this case, it's a good excuse.
Yes. This one has me confused. New SpaceX Starlink cover shows transfer orbit from Earth to Mars. Cover of what?
Yeah, it looks like a thing. Is
that the Starlink? Like a new Starlink?
Oh, maybe it's the...
Oh, the modem?
Is it the modem? Is it the router?
Oh, maybe it's the router. Okay, that makes sense.
Because I was like, how did Starlink suddenly transform into a monolith?
No, that makes sense.
Okay.
Haiju Meme said, hey, Elon, outside of Starlink, which you changed orbit to lessen the impact, Kessler syndrome, has SpaceX thought of any ways to try to eventually collect space debris, since it could directly affect its business in the future if it gets out of control?
Elon said, yes, we can fly Starship around and chomp up debris with the moving fairing door. So like Pac-Man. Pac-Man basically, except in space.
Thomas Burkhart tweeted, a Raptor boost engine has been spotted in Boca Chica for the first time. This is a non-gimbling, non-throttling, higher thrust version of Raptor for Super Heavy.
And Elon said, outer engine ring is fixed angle, but can throttle. So
little correction there.
So, I wasn't thinking about...
So it's not just on-off. You can dial it in.
Throttle it. I mean, does that mean that you can put directional... almost like torque vectoring on a car where you could kind of steer it.
Rear wheel steering. Rear wheel steering.
Well, no, this is more torque vectoring. Technically.
Tesla Stars says, impossible. Tesla Model S does 400,000 kilometers on one set of brake pads. Elon said,
regen using motor braking means brake pads almost never need to be replaced. My Nissan Leaf just had to have its brakes replaced.
How many miles?
I think it's like 80,000.
That's amazing if you think about it.
Pretty good. I mean,
really good. All right, we had a poll. What was it?
Has over-the-air update 2021.4.18.3 been giving you fewer autopilot nags?
Oh, that's right, because this is supposed to be using the interior cabin cam to look at your face as opposed to just the steering wheel.
Right. We don't have a lot of data on it, so I think it's easy to kind of throw this poll out. Sorry. Most people don't have the update. A lot of people didn't notice a difference, and kind of up in the air as to whether they notice fewer or more nags. Okay. So very inconclusive.
Time for community mail time. Community mail time. And we've only got one this week, and I want to remind everyone to use our new email, hello@nowyouknowchannel.com, to send us your stories, your pictures, your tales that you'd like the community to know, because that's what makes our community a community.
So we've got our buddy Mark down in New Zealand at the...
That's where my truck is? I've been waiting for that's my color too.
Yes.
Bring it here.
So that's in Wanaka, New Zealand. They're apparently doing winter testing, which I thought they were supposed to be delivering cars this month.
Yeah.
I don't know, Rivian. Come on.
All right, it's time for our Supercharger reviews. And remember, you can send in your reviews because we've got a website where you just go in, fill out the page, and it'll be there for everyone to see. And we might talk about it on the show. So let's see what we got.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. This is Scott reporting in from the Lady Lake Supercharger in Lady Lake, Florida on Florida 441. Got 8 version 3 superchargers here at a Wawa convenience store, open 24 hours a day. Nice clean bathrooms, good food and drinks. They do allow 15-minute general parking for ICE cars. You'll often find ICE vehicles parked here, but I've never been able to not charge when I wanted to. Good location near the villages in Florida. I'll give this one an 8 out of 10. Now you know.
Hi, this is Sean coming to you from Comfort Inn and Suites in Fillmore, Utah. It's at a great location right off of the freeway. Fillmore, here you can see the freeway. And they have 2 40 amp destination chargers, Tesla chargers. And it's working great. You just have to ask them to turn on the power for you when you get here. Amenities, they're right next door to an Iceberg ice cream shop. Across the street is a Maverick with a convenience store, and I believe there's a pizza thing inside. And right outside the parking lot, there's a Conoco with a Burger King. And great views all the way around. I would rate this a 9 out of 10.
Hey, Jack and Jesse. I'm at the Ramos Arizpe Supercharger. It's a 6-stall version 2 charger. It's right off the side of Oxxo convenience store. Very, very nice. It's right before you go into the Monterrey city. Now you know.
Reporting for Tesla Owners Mexico. Saludos.
Hello Zach, hello Jesse, this is Victor. I'm at the new Olympia Einkaufscenter Supercharger in Munich, Germany. This has just been switched on. You had it on your Supercharger update last week, I think it was. And here you see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 stalls. They are 250 kilowatts. This is the first time I've been here. Location-wise, it's good. The only disadvantage here is you have to pay for the parking, which I think is about €1 an hour. Inside the centre itself, which incidentally was the first shopping centre in Germany, as far as I'm aware, built in 1972, there are various restaurants and stores. You can just see them over there underneath those tower blocks. Overall, it's not bad. There is over here as well McDonald's and a few other electronic shops. Can't see it too well from here, unfortunately. And over here, another electronic store. Very busy main road. Yeah, what else is there to say, really? That's about it, I think. So now you know.
Wow, thank you so much for reviewing those superchargers. This map is going to be full of superchargers someday, and there'll be reviews of everywhere.
It's all because of you.
Thank you so much. Now, we have a lot of superchargers this week.
Yeah, now if you were thinking like, oh darn, there's no unreviewed ones, well, we got 40 new ones for you, so here we go.
All right. Number 13 in Tennessee is the 12-stall version 3 in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
The 12-stall version 3 in Trumpington, Cambridge, UK.
The 20-stall version 3 in Brea at the Brea Mall in California.
The 16-stall version 3 in Bochum, Ruhr Park, Germany.
The 6-stall version 3 in Pitești, Romania.
The 4-stall version 2 in Mitzpe, Roman, Israel.
The 18-stall version 3, Oslo Central at Centrum Parking House in Norway.
Second one in Bulgaria is the 6-stall version 3 in Sofia, Bulgaria.
The 16-stall version 3 in Eastvale on Lemonite Ave in California.
The 16-stall version 3 in Folksrod, Norway.
Number 5 in Ireland is the 4-stall version 3 in Cork, Ireland.
The 8-stall version 3 in Penkatal, Germany.
Number 4 in Romania is the 6-stall version 3 in Cebu, Romania.
The 4-stall version 3 in Strin, Norway.
The 3-stall version 3 in Vantagroar, Iceland.
I'm sure you got that wrong.
I'm sure I got that very wrong.
The 12-stall version 3 in Trentham, UK.
Number 79 in the UK, the 6-stall version 3 in Aberystwyth. I'm sure I said that one wrong too. Getting worse.
The 20-stall version 3 in Bakersfield, Coppice Road, California.
The 8-stall version 3 in Suncheon, South Korea.
A 4-stall, we don't know its size, in Matsudo, Japan.
Number 31 in Japan is the 4-stall at Hakodate, Japan.
Number 45 in South Korea is the 6-stall version 3 in Seoul. It's Socho, South Korea.
Number 48 in Sweden, the 12-stall version 3 in Sundsvall at Bergskatten, Sweden.
Number 80 in Norway is the 6-stall version 3 in Honningsvåg, Norway.
Number 13 in Denmark is the 8-stall version 3 in Kirksaby, Denmark.
The 8-stall version 3 in Marquette, Michigan.
Number 93 in France is the 20-stall version 3 at Le Mans at Saint-Centurion, France.
Number 5 in Iceland is the 4-stall version 3 in Kirkjubijarklauster, Iceland.
Did you pronounce that one correctly? Dang it.
Maybe.
Why'd you get the easier one? Number 4 in Israel is the 4-stall version 3 in Eilat, Israel.
Number 36 in Spain is the 2-stall version 3 in Barcelona at Lilla Diagonal, Spain.
Number 98 in Germany is the 12-stall version 3 in Wessenberg, Germany.
Number 66 in Florida is the 18-stall Urban in Miami Beach on West Avenue, Florida.
The 16-stall version 3 in Houston on Westheimer Road, Texas.
Number 23 in Michigan is the 8-stall version 3 in Portage on West Nedge Avenue, Michigan.
The 12-stall version 3 in Hope on Classen Road in British Columbia, Canada.
Number 9 in South Carolina is the 12-stall version 3 in Fairplay, South Carolina.
Number 55 in Texas is the 4-stall version 3 in Centerville, Texas.
Number 114 in Canada is the 8-stall version 3 in Golden, Highway 1 on Frontage Road, British Columbia, Canada.
Number 229 in California is the 20-stall version 3 in City of Industry, California.
And lastly is number 26 in Colorado, number 1092 in the United States, number 2851 in the world, the 8-stall version 3 in Silverthorne at Ruby Ranch Road, Colorado. Holy crap, were they busy at Tesla.
All right, slow it down, because otherwise Tesla Time News is going to get too long. So you don't need to make that many Tesla, right?
No, you do.
Yeah, I mean, you really do.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to speed this up in the future. Like
We'll have to start.
if they do 50, we're just going to have to, just artificially speed it up.
All right, it's time for the Patreon giveaway. We're giving away a $30 gift card to EcoWare, where we carbon offset the production, the life cycle, and the shipping of your product. We plant 10 trees for every order, and then we cap a well. Who is the winner this week?
The winner is Daniel J. Stewart.
Congratulations. If you want to get yourself in this bucket, by the way, join us on Patreon. The more you support us, the more often you have a chance to win. Well, we made it to the end of the show. You made it to the end of the show.
Just in case you forgot, the breakaway adapter.
Yeah, so if you're an engineer or an entrepreneur, solve that problem. And first of all, you'd be making money, probably. You'd be saving lives, and you'd be making Jesse very happy.
And hey, we will, I mean, whoever makes the best one, we're going to advertise for free for 6 months, because I'm dead serious. This is a absolutely necessary thing. I can't believe that no electric car company, including Tesla, hadn't thought of this, is that you're now a sitting duck sitting in your car.
Right. I mean, I think the idea was that wireless charging would someday solve this problem, and maybe it still will, but there's still a lot of time between now and then. And yeah, this could be implemented almost immediately.
Breakaway charger.
Right.
I don't want anyone to be stuck in a situation where they are stuck in their car when something is happening. And there's, please, if you have any catting skills whatsoever, just reach out to us, because maybe we can put you in touch with someone else who knows a little bit more about the electrical stuff. I really want to get this thing made. I want to get it out the door, and I want to get money in your pocket, because honestly,
I think it'll be a popular product.
Seriously, you have about 50% of the human population that would definitely be interested in this product.
And imagine when it starts saving a few lives.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, and you think that I'm not going to be shouting this from the rooftops? It's a very important thing, so please get on it, and we'll talk to you soon. We'll see you next week.
Now you know.